Hello and welcome to Logistics Shakti Podcast series. I am Sukshim Sharma, your host for today, as I'm joined by dignitaries who are driving the conversations around products and logistics in the country and all over India. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sarthak Elwadhi. I'm the co-founder at Trucksup, and I'm here to talk about some interesting things in logistics.
Right. Sir, to start with, I would really like to understand, since you're closely working into logistics sector, what exactly are the trends here? If I, ask particularly about India, how is the industry, moving forward?
So when we look at the trends moving forward, the first thing we realize is that India's consumption is getting higher as the purchasing power of the middle class is increasing, which is a trend we've seen all around the world, even in China. And the driver of that growth is selling products and selling consumer goods, which is a very positive sign for our economy in the longer term. And the products reach our consumers, even if it's e-com today, using trucks. So the backbone of India's economy will always remain logistics. So if we're looking at an India growing at a 6, 7, 8% GDP growth rate, we're looking at the logistics industry growing in tandem with it.
Right. So to start with your own, platform that you're involved and you have expertise in, can you please explain the working that how you are connecting actually, the stakeholders and the whole process, and how does exactly the whole platform is work?
Sure. So it's actually very simple. You can think of us as like an app that gives you the right information at the right time. Because if you travel a lot on the ground in India and talk to truck owners, talk to truck drivers, talk to people who want a truck, you'll realize that this is not anymore a time where people aren't business smart, but it is a time where people don't have access to the right information. Or so the accessibility of information is kind of concentrated at the top of the supply chain, with bigger companies and of course bigger MNCs who are handing out contracts. But the actual trucks that are on the road, up to 80 to 85%, are owned by people who have less than 10 trucks. And that is where the notion of India's trucking market being unorganized comes from. And so, what does unorganized mean? So, when we talk about these 10, less than 10 truck owners, they don't have the legal requirement to keep accounting books or pay tax, but they are very much running a serious business. Having 10 trucks, if they're full truckload trucks, you're looking at assets of 5 CR or more. And you're paying EMIs in excess of, 5 lakh rupees or more, depending on if you got body funding done, etc. And we're looking at an industry which, if your asset, which is your truck, is not actively making money because of the nature of the EMI cost and maintenance, etc., it's actively losing money. A truck is a depreciating asset, it's not a piece of land. Um, and we are looking at an industry where only 10 to 15 days of a month, depending on the season and the type of truck you own, you have loads in your truck. So you're getting paid for only maybe an average of 13, 14 days a month of work because you just can't work the rest of the time. And so what happens is that the truck owner naturally wants to earn the money that he would have earned over that 30-day period or 25-day period, in that period of 13 days. So naturally, the prices of his services for those 13 days go up.
And the operations are, beyond India as well, sir?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, so
I
yeah.
think India's market is all encompassing for us at the
Right.
moment. Yeah.
So I was the reason I asked this question is because I wanted to know what is the scenario at the global level also. But obviously, I mean, you're aware of the industry standards and the trends that are there and the geopolitical situation right now. So what are your thoughts on that? Like,
So, first of all, if the question is in the line of are we affected by the global economics, then we live in a time where every country's economy, especially the bigger countries in the world, are so interlinked with each other that if something goes terribly wrong in one of these countries, especially in the oil producing countries in the Middle East, the reverberations of that are felt throughout the world. When the Ukraine war started in 2022, Europe and then eventually India, everyone felt the shocks. Of course, that was also because Russia is a massive oil producer. Um, they went on producing oil and they sold it to India, so they weren't felt as badly here. But this time, it's different because we see that we have a very important choke point of the world blocked off. And no doubt, everyone is feeling the squeeze in India. People who work in Punjab transporting wheat, who know nothing about what's happening in Iran or what's happening in the White House, believe me, they're feeling it. And that's just the nature of the global economy in 2026. You can't run away from it or hide from it.
Right, absolutely. So, if I talk about, these concerns as well. So, what kind of, particularly if I talk about your sector, logistics sector, and the industry involved, what are the things that you are getting from the government as well?
So, if you look at the last 10, 15 years and simply the kind of roads that we've developed, naturally that helps us a lot because that means our trucks break down a lot less. We have less maintenance to do. A truck's life is extended. And that is infinitely more valuable than any other policy change. And then the fast tag system that we've brought in, and maybe we are also transitioning to a faster version of it sometime in the future that we see working in Singapore and Germany. So these kind of things, they might not be the things that grab the biggest headlines, but this is where the real efficiency in a macroeconomic situation.
But I think real players only know about it because these are not something that is, that concerns the headlines of the newspapers. But then again, as since you want,
Yeah, the boring things are which actually end up making the real difference. It's small steps, so we also sell fast tags at Trucksup, and it is all about the customer experience, and the customer experience expectations have gone up so high. If you look at how my parents generation when they were working in logistics, and the kind of situations they had to deal with, it is a completely different business environment. We are here where single truck owners are demanding of my company to have 3 a.m. working call centers to give them proper attention in case anything goes wrong, and give back any double deductions within a period of hours. And 15 years ago, we didn't even have that. We had cash systems and corruption and whatnot. So,
right. Since we're talking about, technology and being, accessible and being available for each other in the business, what are your thoughts about AI? Since, AI is something which is getting into every sector. If I talk about, healthcare, if I talk about education, it's there. What about logistics?
so AI has gone from having a sentence following it, which is that it's going to steal all the jobs, to have another word follow it now, which is bubble. So AI bubble is what's discussed more often now. Even if you look at companies like OpenAI, um, they're not looking so strong in their market position anymore. And even the investors are feeling that just giving and feeding more information to the models is not resulting in. So the idea was you keep feeding a model exponentially more information, and it will keep getting exponentially better. But since the past year or so, we have come to kind of a slowly rising plateau, and the data centers that we're setting up as a species, we're not getting the same result that we were in 2022 to 24. So now we're getting to a point where AI is settling. So what is that point? That point is that AI can take huge data sets, insanely large data sets that a human being, a team of maybe 20 proper white collar workers might take months to organize, analyze, and maybe make mistakes and get a data set that you can actually be actionable upon. For example, trucks, where they are, where is the supply, where is the demand, what is the price, etc., etc. But AI does that in real time. So that is the real strength of AI. And so we are definitely using that in logistics, and you're seeing it come up
But are
in
we also
various fashions.
experiencing any blunders for that matter?
Blunders if by AI. So look, when you're using AI, we definitely want to keep fail safe that okay, this is not a perfect solution, because we have realized as people living in 2026 that AI works best with some form of human intervention and supervision. So you have to find the right balance of using AI. And that is what companies are doing. It is not just, okay, delete this entire department of people and bring in an AI chat model. No, it is just going to be better productivity for the same people, and they'll be able to do things much, much faster. And that's how we need to use AI. And that is how we are actually using AI in terms of managing live large data sets, which is just impossible. You cannot have a team of 1 lakh people looking after where a load is coming from, where a truck is standing at the moment. But AI can do that without any supervision, and that is the brilliance of it.
So since we are at the second edition of Logistics Shakti Summit and Awards, any message that you want to give to the audiences through this platform, and also your takeaway from today's sessions that you attended?
The message to the audience will definitely be that this second version is a lot bigger than the last one. It's a lot grander, and it's fantastic to see so many stakeholders of this industry come together. Um, but as a general message to logistics in general, it would definitely be to create a sustainable transportation environment and not the cheapest one, because that's just not going to last.
Very well said, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.